I am a straight dude. I watch anime, alright? There's too many finely crafted women in these shows, so there's no way I was gonna be gay. So I'm not gonna pretend I'm gonna know the experiences of LGBTQ people or know better than them on these topics. I just think that LGBTQ topics in anime are really interesting, and so I wanted to make another video on this subject. So last time we had the gayometer, but this time we've upgraded. We now have the infinity gauntlet, alright? Powers of the LGBT community are wielded in one glove. It's not in the order of gayness like last time. It's just a variety of topics that I just wanted to go through. So our first topic here is wrong ship, dude. These are shows that have relationships that could be interpreted as homosexual, but the weird thing is the community discussion around these shows focus on some ships more than others, while others seem to be more plausibly gay. We have here Bocchi the Rock and Girls Band Cry. I made videos on both of these shows, so I thought it was interesting. Let's talk about it. I noticed there's like a lot of stuff from the fan base that ships Kita and Bocchi, or like Kita x Nijika. I feel like within the context of the show, there's not really a whole lot there. I think it's just fans being kind of gung-ho about it, especially with Nijika x Kita, because, Bocchi and Kita go to the same school at the very least. So you could think like the relationship would be closer since they spend more time together, even outside of the band, because, they have to. But like actually in the show, Kita shows a lot of admiration for Ryo, so it's a lot more explicit in that scenario with Kita and Ryo. It's kind of weird seeing a lot from those two ships when there isn't really a whole lot of substance to it, when there's one right in your face in the show. Even then, I'm not sure if it's even intentionally romantic. I think she's just more of a fangirl, more of someone who just really admires Ryo rather than is romantically interested in her. Kind of like how celebrities are. People are big fans of celebrities. They're willing to like fly out to places and stuff. But that doesn't mean you're necessarily desire to be romantically involved in that situation. Unless there's something missing like in the manga or something. And I've definitely seen this sort of fangirl trope in other anime. All the students admire Komi a lot because she's so physically attractive and so mysterious, right? Now on to Girls Band Cry. People really like the idea of shipping Momoka and Nina. They're super passionate and fiery in the show, but that's not directed in a romantic direction. It's more directed towards their music. Yeah, people made videos like this. It's like, they're so together, ooh. But I think that their passion lies solely in music. Nina makes it pretty clear that she really loved Momoka's music when she was in Diamond Dust, and she didn't like the fact that Diamond Dust sold out and started making music to sell records rather than actually making really genuine music, and she wanted to capture that with Momoka because after Momoka left, the music fell off. So she wanted to recreate that magic that Diamond Dust used to have, and throughout the entire series they push each other to continue making better and better music and to keep that raw, genuine style to their music. Momoka a lot of the time questions going back into the music, and Nina has to rope her back in. You're so talented, Momoka, you gotta keep making fucking music. And Momoka's very encouraging towards her progression in, making the band and making music. And she gives her advice about like the industry and a lot of advice on how to make this really genuine music. The characters get so emotionally intense about it too. This is one of the aspects I love about Girls Band Cry. There's so much friction towards each other in the show that it makes the character interactions really fun. You can interpret it as like fiery passion for music translates to romance, but I feel like that transition just never fucking happens in the show. Yeah, even here, Momoka's like, you gotta make music that's true to your heart, not copy me. And it's a quote-unquote confession scene, but like, the thing is that it's all about the music. Like, yeah, she says, I love you, but you could easily interpret it as like, thank you for fucking showing me the way of making great music. So there's not a whole lot of evidence here that actually confirms anything. So right now, I would say it's still ambiguous. You know, we could be proven wrong in the future. There's gonna be a movie too. I feel like there's a more plausible relationship that could be more romantic, which would be with Tomo and Rupa. Rupa is kind of like Tomo's guardian in this show. Tomo's a little brat. She causes a lot of friction in the group. Rupa sort of has to come in here, always try to cool her down and try to keep the peace when Tomo tries to start shit, and sticking by her side no matter what. Like, these two work together, they were in a band together, and it seems that Tomo really likes Rupa a lot, considering that she pushed so many people away, like her mom who cheated on her dad, or her old band members, since she got into a lot of disagreements with them, which caused their old band to disband. So it seems that those two have a really close relationship. Even then, it's pretty easy to interpret this as like Rupa is sort of Tomo's caretaker. Like, Tomo's really young, she's like the same age as Nina, just barely out of fucking high school. Rupa's sort of like the mom of the group, trying to keep the peace, always staying calm. Even though I could see how both Nina and Momoka and Tomo and Rupa could be romantic, I just feel like we just never see that translation from it actually going from friendship and companionship to actual romantic stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to wait for more content to come out before we actually know for sure if that's what's actually going on. I think the reason why people do these ships is because it adds a lot of flavor to the show, right? Nina and Momoka are the most complex characters in Girls Band Cry, and having that romantic layer adds so much depth to their character that makes them a lot more fun to watch. Kita in Bocchi the Rock is arguably the least interesting character of our main four, no offense. She's a really likable character, but she doesn't have much going for her. It's kind of cool seeing her learn about music, but that's really it. What the other characters have going on is a lot more interesting. Rio with her desire to make genuine music, or Nijika wanting her concert hall to be successful, or Bocchi, you know, trying to become a rock star and be on her way to become a socially well-adjusted person. So it makes sense that people would like to put ships with specifically Kita, because that makes her a lot more interesting, you know, with that romantic layer. All of this is interpretive anyway. It's not like I'm gonna get killed for saying like, oh, I don't think these are like the correct way of looking at it. That's sort of gonna be the theme here. It's gonna be a little bit interpretive. Next up is side plots are crazy. Initially, this was gonna be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's just a random trans side plot in this. But in two of these, it's way more complicated than that, which was a little bit infuriating because I didn't want to spend as much time on this segment as I am going to. So initially, from what I remember of Steins Gate, I thought Ruka was like, oh, I'm a guy, but I don't like being guy, I want to be a girl. I thought that was it, but it turns out he's totally fine with being a guy. The problem is that he has a crush on Okabe because like Okabe saved him from like an awkward situation, and he dressed as a girl because his like dad wanted him to be a shrine maiden, and everyone looks at him as like, oh, you're a girl, but it's like, no, I'm a guy. But the problem is that he kept his feelings inside because he doesn't want to come out as gay for Okabe. When Okabe like goes into alternate universes, in one of them Ruka's a girl, and since she would be a girl in that scenario, she was okay with confessing to Okabe, and then, you know, he realizes, oh, Ruka had a crush on me this whole time, regardless of the universe. So in Japanese, Ruka uses masculine pronouns to refer to himself, but apparently in the dub, he fucking refers to himself as a girl, and that's like from Funimation's rewriting or something. So I don't even know what is the actual answer to this. Yeah, some people are saying trans, some people are saying he's a gay guy suppressing his emotions. I don't really know either way. It's really up to you, okay? Just don't be a dick about it, I guess. Did the dub just like completely fucking rewrite everything here? I'm so confused. People are gonna debate about this till the end of time. I, for one, am just letting everyone know there's multiple interpretations of this. In particular, I don't really lean one way or another. Just let me know what you think, alright? So Blue Period is mostly about this dude who's really good at his academics, but he discovers art and is like, oh, I want to pursue art. And then we have this character, Yuka or Ryuji or whatever. It depends on the character. Initially, I thought this person was also pretty straightforward, like a trans person, but no, it's not like that. So apparently this is a person that dress femininely and wants their femininity accepted, but not necessarily thinks of themselves as a girl or something like that. I don't know. I probably just misremembered it being like a clear-cut thing. The waters were also really muddy because of fucking Reddit and shit. Apparently there's this plot line here. Their parents aren't really approving of them really expressing their femininity. They just want to be accepted for who they are, I guess. But some people are saying it's not necessarily completely wants to be girl, also wants to keep the guy aspect, so it's like non-binary or something. People argue about this shit a lot, so I have no idea. I guess that's the point of gender fluidity, I guess. You're not exactly committed to one thing. You're kind of just like a little bit of everything, I guess. I don't fucking know. Another reason why this stuff is so muddy is that being open about LGBTQ topics is kind of looked frowned upon, I think. It seems from what I've been reading, they just don't like talking about it or something. So that also adds to it, you can't be like explicit about gay people or like trans people in Japan for whatever reason. And it makes it a little bit annoying to talk about this because I can't really commit myself to one thing or another. I didn't want to rewatch everything. Okay, I don't have that much time. There is a show that is an exception. So in this show, there's this kid who we first see as gay because he has a crush on this kid. In the 8th episode, they confess that they think of themselves as non-binary because they're not sure if they want to be boy or girl, especially after they go undercover to like scout this guy the other characters are facing in a tennis tournament, feeling what it's like to be a girl. They were like unsure if they wanted to stay that way as a girl or continue being a guy, so it's like, I guess, non-binary. They're not exactly set in stone in that aspect. Our main character Hiromaki like talks about his mom's like trans friend, you know, born as a woman, now identifies as a guy, helps this character Yu understand their own identity in terms of gender. I really like how Maki tells them, you don't have to commit to anything right now, and it's okay to be unsure of things at the age that they're at. They're in middle school, so they're like, what, 13, 14? They have plenty of time to figure out who they are as people. Yeah, in terms of, I guess, your gender identity, but all the other aspects of your life. You know, you're still developing physically, mentally. There's still so much you haven't experienced, so it's really okay to be unsure about yourself. There's still plenty of time to figure yourself out. It's better to be open to things and figure yourself out. And this is just like a small part of a pretty fucking baller tennis show. There's so much like insane shit that happens in this show. The characters are all going through their own interesting stories. The tennis stuff is actually really engaging. The animation's really good. I may actually make a video on this one. I really enjoyed this one. I think it would be fun to make a video on this one. So next topic is I forgot, as in I either forgot about it or I forgot it was gay. These are shows I knew beforehand that were gay, but while I was actually watching them, I completely forgot about that aspect because other aspects of the show were much more interesting to me. I only watched season 1 of Hidamari's sketch, so I didn't think there was that much of girls' love aspects to it. Maybe in the later seasons they're more explicit about that. I have no idea. My brother's a pretty big fan of this. Apparently he said it's like gay coded or whatever. I've read things such as Miyako and, you know, saying things that could be interpreted as flirty to each other. There's like this sort of joke where Sai and Hiro are called mom and dad. So there's like at least some implications there that these are characters who might be romantically involved with each other. It also doesn't help that Ume Aoki is a raging lesbian who makes a lot of lesbian doujins, so it makes me really convinced that she definitely wanted to put even more girls' love into this, but I guess publishers didn't want that in there or something. When I was watching the show, I was more interested in the tone and like the visuals than I was in these girls' romances that may or may not be explicit. Because I've seen other Shaft comedies like fucking Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, and this one is extremely chaotic. So I didn't know how well Shaft would do a cute girls thing that's supposed to be relaxed, but with this, they actually did it pretty well. All of the crazy visuals that Shaft uses are left in the craziest bits of the show, not frequent enough to retract from the really chill tone of this show. And the art style with like the backgrounds, you know, polka dot backgrounds, and the use of media mixing, like here with the real pictures mixed with the anime animation, it feels like the entire show is like a scrapbook. And I think the visual style is like really engaging. It definitely makes it stand out from more generic looking slice of life shows. Also, I noticed that each episode is like a daily routine for the characters. Episode starts with, you know, waking up and getting ready for school, and then to what happens when they're at the school, then to the characters hanging out at their apartment, and then, you know, taking her bath and going to bed. And this routine is pretty much in every episode. It makes every episode feel familiar and comfortable. It makes it feel a lot more relatable, which makes it a lot more comfortable. And just generally as a slice of life show, this is very chill, very cozy. It was a good time. I like it. All right, so here we have Candy Boy. I remember watching the Demo D review where he was like, oh my god, I love Yuri, I love fucking girls, I love girls. So when I went into this, I remembered, oh yeah, there's like gonna be lesbian stuff in this. The thing I forgot about it is pretty much everything else, all right? The show just did not leave an impression on me at all. The episodes are super slow, despite them being half episodes. It's just the two sisters being like, oh, why don't we go to school? Why don't we walk in the park? And it has this sort of drab looking 2000s color palette that makes it boring to look at too. So while I was watching this, it made it so that my brain was somehow making sedative, so it was just not absorbing anything because I thought this was just so fucking unengaging. I do remember them being like, oh, I love you, sister. I want to be with you, sister. Again, I remember the Demo D video, and I remember this girl sucking the fucking cream off the other girl's face. But the thing is, they always call each other fucking sister. So it's like, whenever I hear familial ties like that, I just automatically think that, oh, it's not lesbian at all. But I knew it was supposed to be lesbian the whole time. It's just that whenever you hear like incest shit, it's like I automatically shut it off in my brain. I had that same problem with Ori Emo. I watched season 1 and I thought Kirino just wants to have a relationship with her brother because they didn't really talk to each other the whole time. They were basically strangers to each other in their own home and wanted to like build that relationship with one another. And that was very naive of me because then I learned they got fucking married, and that came as a shock because I legitimately thought, oh, these two characters, they just wanted to bond as siblings, not as romantic lovers. So it's just like, whenever I hear that the two characters are siblings, I automatically think it's just a sibling relationship bond that gets stronger. Even though, again, I clearly remember that this is supposed to be a lesbian thing, but that's just me being a little bit too innocent, I guess. One more category to go through here, and that is just gay ass shit. These are just cool shows that I watched in girls love and boys love genres that I thought were pretty good. So first we have Kase-san Morning Glories. I really like this one because it skips all the fucking bullshit where characters go, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, in their fucking romantic relationships. That's not just a thing in like boys love or girls love shit. It's just a pet peeve I have with a lot of romance things. This film gets right into the meat and potatoes of characters actually being in their fucking romantic relationships, and I really appreciate that. And they do compensate for not having that arc of the characters figuring out that they like each other by giving us a little bit of a backstory through flashbacks where the sporty girl tells the story of how she watched the other girl tending to the flowers and was like, man, I really admire her and want to get close to her. And then they become a couple. That's cool. I'd rather have this than have a 20 fucking episode arc where the characters are like, oh, I don't know, I'm so unsure. The efficiency of this is very much appreciated. I really like how the two characters are really actively trying to improve their romantic relationship. This girl, she's super shy, so it's really hard for her to convey her emotions. And she really wants to spend more time with her girlfriend, the sporty girl, right? And the sporty girl can see how she was actually really bothered by the fact that the blonde girl really wishes to spend time with her, right? Since she has like a higher social IQ, she could recognize that, you know, something was really bothering her girlfriend and made it up to her by having lunch with her. And that's really cute. I like how it's, you know, portraying a nice, healthy relationship where they work out their issues. And that's nice. It's so cute how the characters are so fucking smitten for each other. They just seem so happy together. It's like, yeah, the thing where it's like, don't go to college too far away. Like, that thing is sort of that was a little bit tropey, but it doesn't really leave that sour of a taste in my mouth because the whole film is just nice and wholesome. It's very cute. I like the characters a lot. Next up, we have Sasaki and Miyano. I apologize for making this the only boys love show on the list. It's just that I watched a bunch of shows. It turns out this was the only boys love one. I didn't want to make this video any longer. I really like this one too. I like how our characters, Sasaki and Miyano, they have this really interesting relationship where they share this passion for boys love manga. It's because Sasaki has like this romantic interest in Miyano because he thinks he's very attractive. And they talk about this in a lot of detail, and it makes it feel like the writers actually made it so that these characters are really interested in the subject, and it's really cute to see them bond over this. It makes their relationship feel pretty unique. Because of this subject, it gets really dumb later on. Sasaki finally admits to Miyano that he's in love with him, and it's so dumb because Miyano's really confused about it. He's like confused about it for like half the fucking show, and he takes way too long to decide whether or not he wants Sasaki to be his boyfriend. And Miyano has like this really stupid excuse that, oh, he had a girlfriend before and therefore he can't be gay because he had a girlfriend. It's like, what? I'm only attracted to girls. I've dated a girl, therefore I'm only attracted to girls, even though you could be bisexual. And it's even more dumb considering that this fucking guy obsessed with this boys love manga. The boys love manga is like his only hobby, it seems. He knows shit about like the fucking colloquial terms that fans of the fucking genre use. He listens to the goddamn audiobook. Like, he's pretty hardcore into this shit. You would think he'd be like, I want to live this fantasy out, but in real life, because I really love this boys love stuff. It's not out of reach. He goes to an all boys school and there's a guy that's pretty fucking into him. And it's just so dumb that it takes like 12 episodes to figure out. I guess I really like Sasaki, so I'm gonna date him. I would understand the confusion if he was into different types of romance manga, but Sasaki put his focus on the boys love manga because I'm a gay guy. I'm interested in that. If he was also into girls love and straight stuff, it would make a lot of sense because like, oh, I'm just a fan of the romance genre. I'm not necessarily gay because I want to see like these, you know, gay shows or whatever. You know, it's like me who just wants to educate himself on various romance genres because I think the different perspectives of boys love and girls love are really interesting to me. That's sort of why I made this video. If Miyano was exactly like me, it would make a lot more sense because just being into everything doesn't necessarily mean you're gay. But the thing is, he's only into boys love, so I don't understand why he's just so confused about his fucking interest in this fucking guy. But whatever, he accepts Sasaki as his fucking lover in episode 12, and the movie is actually about the relationship. There's this kind of weird thing in the fucking movie where it's about these two for like the first like 5 to 10 minutes. It's like, oh, this guy has a crush on the blonde guy, and it starts out with this segment about these two, but the rest of the movie is just about fucking Sasaki and Miyano, how they're functioning in their relationship post confession from Miyano. So I guess the first little bit is like a manga promotion. They read the spin-off, but I don't know, it's kind of just weird having this right at the beginning of the movie, but whatever, promote your manga. But it's really cute seeing these two actually finally being in their fucking romantic relationship and, you know, going through all the troubles of of their relationship, controlling their physical desires, like the cute thing of like doing special things for each other. Oh, chocolates on Valentine's Day, so cute. I actually really like the side characters in this one. I remember this segment from the movie where it's like this guy confronts Sasaki. He's like, oh, I thought it was gonna go in the direction of him being like, you're gonna be with your gay little boyfriend instead of hanging out with your bro. But it turns out he was worried his girl wouldn't shut the fuck about boys love shit, knowing that he knows someone in a boys love relationship, freak out and fucking fangirl over it. It was a lot more wholesome than I expected. The humor isn't really obnoxious. I feel like the characters are really supportive of each other, and yeah, this one's cool. I like this one. Yeah, this one's the big dog, alright? I know that Bloom Into You is widely considered one of the best girls' love shows. I agree, I love it. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I'm sure there's like a billion other fucking videos that analyze and dissect this show. But one thing I wasn't expecting before I got into this show is how fucking pretty this show is. Really cool, like, visual effects. The backgrounds are super detailed too. I really like the very used and worn feel of the student council room that they're using. All the beautiful foliage around the school. And I thought this show was just gonna be visually average, but no, it's actually pretty far above average, I say. The music is also really good. And I actually really like the dub too. In the dub, Yu calls Toko Toko. Like, they use their first names with each other. And I really like that because it makes their relationship feel so much more intimate with each other. Because since Toko's really in love with Yu because of how the way she cares for Toko, looking at her as a person objectively and doing what's best for her based on that, not judging her based on her own insecurities, but helping her through that. And Yu really wants to love Toko, even though she doesn't have the, you know, traditional feelings of love that she had read in books. And these two pretty quickly get a really intimate relationship. So it makes sense that they would be on a first name basis, being so close to one another. In the Japanese version, Yu calls Toko senpai, which makes it feel like there's a sort of barrier between the two, even though pretty quickly the barrier gets broken. Toko confesses her feelings, she confesses her insecurities about wanting to be just like her sister, who she perceives as perfect. So it makes sense that barriers already broken and being shown through the dub. And it's pretty low-key too, since these characters are all in the student council and they call each other by the first names in English because that's more of the traditional thing in English. The characters want to suspect another level of intimacy between Toko and Yu. It makes sense since these two are kind of trying to hide their relationship. Toko's such a popular figure within the school, with all the rumors of her dating her underclassmen, everyone would freak the fuck out. I tried to watch the Japanese version of this.
先輩のこういうところは可愛いのかな?
Yeah, whenever Yu does her fucking internal monologue, it sounds like just close enough to the breathy lolly voice that I immediately rejected it from my fucking ears. I honestly cannot watch this show sub because all these internal monologues just are like unbearable for me because it reminds me of something that's very uncomfortable. Not to say it's bad, it's just my fucking stupid little nitpick. It's really cute how smitten Toko is for Yu because it's pretty well established that Toko hasn't felt, well, you know, the butterflies and the excitement of love that Yu in the beginning said that she was trying to see, and she's found Yu. She finally has that feeling, and it makes sense that something that she hasn't experienced before would be kind of uncontrollable for her. So it's really cute how she's like fucking all over Yu, not you the viewer. I think Yu's sort of lack of emotion towards Toko's love for her is really interesting because she could view Toko objectively as her, you know, genuine self, not this persona that she put on to get people to like her, since she's a bit insecure of herself that she wanted to basically be her sister because she didn't think she was good enough. She knows that Toko loves her a lot, and she returns that, I guess, by being there to, you know, help her sort out her issues. So I just think the relationship between the two is really interesting. It's not something I've seen before. I weirdly relate to this kid because he likes to watch other people's romances. That's not necessarily something I do. It's more so listening to other people's stories. I guess that's why I watch anime, because there's so many different stories out there. There's this thing with a play where the metaphor is pretty blatantly obvious, where it's like the character Toko plays has to pick between her outward self that she shows the world or her inner, more genuine, more vulnerable self. Okay, it's obviously supposed to represent Toko's own internal struggles, not just like this character she's playing, right? If it wasn't for the other shit with the confusing like trans characters or non-binary characters, I appreciate this one way more for being so much more transparent with us. This show is as good as everyone is saying it is. I don't even care that the show has a lot of loose ends still attached. We never see the play actually happen. Toko figures out her sister isn't that perfect person that she thought she was and kind of has like a fucking crisis about it. We don't see how she processes that information. Sayaka is in love with Toko, her outward self, and we never find out in the anime what happens when she figures out that Toko is in love with you. All of these loose threads are at the end of the show, and I honestly don't really care because there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens in Bloom Into You. There's a lot of interesting ideas. The characters are really cool, and like actually watching the show was worth my time. I likely won't read the manga because, like I said, the audiovisual aspect is really good. I like the dub, I like backgrounds, I like the music, and without that, I don't think I would have enjoyed this one as much, even though I do enjoy the writing in this a lot. It's just that going to a manga where most of that stuff is gone, I don't think I would be very engaged in that. What I would love is that we eventually get a movie to wrap everything up, because I think the manga is only like 50 chapters, so I think the rest should be able to be in a movie. It would hopefully have a bigger budget, less time constraints to make it even better audiovisually. Maybe I'm just naive. This might be doomed forever to never get season 2 or movie or whatever. Everything that was in here was already satisfying enough for me to watch. I really don't mind that we don't have anything anyway. I don't even watch season 2 of anything anyway. It took me like 5 years to watch Haruhi season 2, and that's my favorite show. Like the only shows that I actually kept up with seasons were like My Hero Academia and like Mob Psycho, and that's it. And even with My Hero Academia, I haven't been keeping up with that now because it's too long. Anyway, that's it for this video. I don't know if I'll make another video on this subject. If I made another one of these, I think it would just be really repetitive. I just talk about different shows and just think of them as just whatever romance shows, not really get into the fucking LGBTQ topics that much. So I'm sorry if I never fucking talk about your favorite show in this genre. It's been about a year of me making unscripted videos, and the last one I made on this subject was the one that really encouraged me to make videos in that style because got a lot of views, got a lot of comments, and I really appreciate people interacting with that video, and having the more casual feel to these YouTube videos really made the barrier of getting back into it a lot easier to break, even though some of the videos didn't do that well. But if a video does bad, I'm not going to be too upset because I didn't spend as much time as I would if it was like a scripted video essay with lots of editing. And you know, I could get my ideas out more often because YouTube is my way of talking about my anime hobby, because none of my friends are into the variety of anime that I'm into, and I hate Twitter and Reddit because there's a bunch of rules and people can be really shitty on those. So having it on YouTube on my terms is really good. I still want to work on scripted videos occasionally. I'll definitely try to keep the 1 video per month schedule I've been keeping throughout this entire year. Alright, I'll see you later.